Hey, happy Saturday. It's March 23rd, 2024. This is for signed URLs, and that's for directly accessing Google Cloud Storage through the API for assets such as MP4s, text files, anything that's under a V object. So I'm going to show you how that works, but the first thing that you have to know is CORS. CORS has to be set on the Google Storage bucket because the Google Storage URLs are actually the ones serving up the data, and so they need to have the proper CORS headers. And in order to do this, use gsutil to set the CORS data. And so I have the little command lines here. So assuming you're in the Surfey directory, which I am, that will set CORS. And if you want to see what the CORS settings are, you can run this get. And if you want to see that not looking so crappy, you can use JQ, right? And this just comes from a JSON file. So if you look for cors.json, you'll see the list in here. We've got my Cloud Shell URLs to start with, a couple of local hosts. If you need ports, just add it in here and go ahead and run that script again. And then you have the production URLs here, both for the API and for the main app, which will be using the Apex. All right, let's get started. So I have this deployed into production, and what I'm going to show here first is put. And I've already created this V object, and so I'm going to grab its ID, and I'm going to put something on it. So we'll start with something simple, a test.text. Test.text, put. And now I want to show you what's going on here because this is kind of important. You'll notice there's actually three things that happen. First, we do a put, and that's through fetch inside the V HTML test. And what this does is and let's look at our request headers first. We're sending off, we know it's text/plain. It's really important to specify the content type, because that's going to be used with the signature of the signed URL. If you don't specify the content type, the signed URL is going to have a content type, and if they don't match, you're going to get an error. If the content type is blank and we create a signed URL with a blank content type, then it won't be set in the bucket. The type here will be blank, and when somebody goes to access that value, because the content type is blank, the browser is going to force them to download it. So instead of viewing it in the browser or in the app, and it doesn't matter so much in the app, it will cause it to download. So let's take a look at this one. So we put this asset, so now we can view the asset. Let's do that one more time so you can watch it. Oh, see. It happens real fast. You can see the URL changed. Go Surfey me. So with a get, instead of a 307, which is what you get when you put, so going back to this put, we got a 307 to the signed URL. When you get a 302 found. And those two return codes are important. Really just look for a 300 series code to know that you're going to a signed URL if you're working directly with the return codes. And then the response here when you get is to that, it creates a signed URL, specifies the content type, and then that goes to the Google Cloud Storage here. And you'll notice the response headers will include, well, I guess it didn't need to in the get. This didn't require CORS like a pre-flight. This did, which is why there's three requests, because one of those requests is a pre-flight. The other two is the actual put. So yeah, so that's pre-flight. And the pre-flight will fail without the content type. So again, that's why that's really important. So the advantage of redirecting to Google Cloud Storage directly is we're circumventing the 30 megabyte limit on on Cloud Run. Cloud Run servers you can only have a payload of up to 30 megabytes when you're posting or putting to them, and so with a put you can circumvent that. Now I have to note that the post still goes directly to Cloud Run. There's no kind of fancy redirect in there, and so there is the 30 megabyte limit on the initial post. So if you need to create a new V object with an original video that's bigger we're going to have to do two rounds. One to post to create, say, an empty object, and then second to put. Excuse me. But in order for that to work, we'll need to make sure that the object that you're overwriting has the same name, right? Because you can use put to overwrite. So let me show you how that might work. So I can put this file, let's say I now have a larger version. I can do a put again. Let's see, it succeeded. And if we look here, you'll see these dates are all new. And the type, again, really important to have the type there. Go Surfey me. Without the type, if you went to view this, it wouldn't actually play. Billy, you're home! Billy, you're... So that's that with signed URLs. Just remember cores. You must set cores in order for whatever your local development host is to work with Fetch and Google Cloud Storage because of the pre-flight stuff. And if you need to post something bigger, you can't. You need to post like something small to start with and then overwrite it with a put. And I'll continue looking into that to see if there's something we need to do there. But otherwise, know now that when you access something, if it's an object, an asset rather, it's going to redirect directly to Google Cloud Storage so we can scale much quicker and handle larger files. All right, that's it. Happy Saturday.